It's 12 o'clock in Nashville. That can mean only one thing. It's time for Dental Profits. Today we're going to talk about why morning meetings suck and what to do about it. Stay with us. And welcome into Dental Profits, the show that is all about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and enjoying the ride. I'm Sean Crabtree, and today we are going to talk about what I believe is one of the biggest challenges out there. Why morning meetings suck and what you can do about it. You just like when I say that, don't you, Mr. Producer? And what you can do about it. I've got visual aids today. We're going to talk about, there's a lot of things that we could talk about here, honestly. But I want to talk to you about the three biggest overall challenges that I see with morning meetings and specifically what you can do to overcome those, okay? I want to throw this out. I was having a conversation this week with somebody on a specific team. And she said something interesting to me. She said, why do people in dentistry have morning huddles? Why do they have morning meetings? I thought, you know what? That may be common, the common thought process out there. I can tell you this. Morning meetings are not simply for dentistry. So whatever business that you're in, you should know successful businesses have morning meetings on a regular basis. And there are specific things that you're trying to accomplish. The challenges, though, are the same across the board, and these are the things that we need to talk about today. And I want to give you the specific things to overcome them. So I've got my visual aids. I know you guys will love my visual aids. See how high tech that is. I mean, listen, when we do visual aids, we spare no expense. This is straight up, high dollar visual aid equipment right here. Let's talk about the number one challenge that we see consistently and have for the last 25 years when it comes to morning meetings that suck. The number one challenge is, where's the focus? Cameron wears one of those little things around his wrist that says WTF, which stands for where's the focus. That is a big one when it comes to morning meetings. One of the challenges that we find is that the focus of the morning meeting is all around what's happening in the schedule. There is some importance there, obviously. There are some things that perhaps you need to communicate while you're in the morning meeting in terms of the schedule. I would submit that the vast majority of the things that are walked through in most morning meetings are things that there's no reason to even bring up because you can look in the schedule. Now, if you're running into that challenge a lot, then here's what I tell you to do. Take the things that you want to communicate in the schedule and put them into the schedule as best you can. And if there are things additionally to that you need to communicate, that's great. However, don't make the entire morning meeting specifically having the only focus around what's going on in the schedule, and that's it. Instead, the focus should be around big picture things. If you're doing a morning meeting every single morning, then your focus should be around, okay, exactly where are we today in terms of our goals? This is the important stuff, right? Where are we today in terms of our goals, and what specifically needs to happen to get us from where we are to where it is that we want to be today? And every day is about today, right? If you think about it, the morning meeting is the only opportunity that we have, all of us together, regardless of what service industry that you're in. But if we're talking about dentistry specifically, it's true across the board, but in dentistry specifically, you guys know how this works, right? You come to the morning meeting, and then once you break up the meeting, the imaginary gun goes bang, and everybody takes off and runs like crazy for the rest of the day, and you don't really get a chance to get back together. The morning meeting is your opportunity to put your focus on where is it you're trying to go today? What are the shortfalls in terms of where we are versus where we want to be and what needs to happen? And you need to communicate about those things while you have everybody together. It's also an opportunity for you to, and here's a big one, put your focus on this in a big way. Anticipate where the log jams are. Anticipate where the challenges are going to be. Everybody on the team has things that you're trying to accomplish that day. Look at the schedule while we're all together. Anticipate where the potential pitfalls and speed bumps are going to be, and then make requests around the horn while everybody is together so everybody can support one another around the table. Each day looks different. Each schedule looks different. You can anticipate sometimes, even though it's not in the schedule, because of who that patient is, maybe that's going to be a pitfall. Or if you can anticipate when 2 or 3 financials are going to be released at the same time and who's going to be where, there's a potential pitfall. That's a great opportunity for you to communicate what you might need from each other, again, because this is the only time of the day that you're going to be together to be able to make those requests until the end of the day. So make sure that your focus is absolutely on those things. By the way, what do you do to overcome the fact that your focus is not maybe where it could be? Here's what I tell you to do. The solution for that is to have one person on the team be the morning meeting person, the morning meeting facilitator, the morning meeting sergeant at arms. And that person's job is to make sure that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things that we're focusing on every single morning. I would have that person come up with a very loose agenda. Loose in terms of, here are the big topics that we're going to cover every single day. What are our goals for today? What are we scheduled to today? What's the shortfall? How are we going to get there? Going around the horn, right? What is it that we need to communicate so that we're all on the same page? Where are those potential pitfalls? All of those kinds of things. The other part of it is, and I didn't mention this a second ago, is, what are the things that we need to clear about things like pre-approvals, right? Anybody who's in the hygiene side who has a reinstatement that needs to be enrolled in that treatment, are they pre-approved? If you're the front desk, clear that so that the hygienist already know. If you're the hygienist, look at your schedule around the table and go, okay, if I can get Sean Crabtree at 10 o'clock enrolled in this treatment, then do we have an opportunity to slide him over into the operative chair today? These are great things to communicate, and while everybody's in that morning meeting, everybody can make requests of each other. We can give and we can take and we can adjust and we can everybody's being flexible. Now you're ready to jump into the day with a strategy and with a plan versus just the imaginary gun going off and boom, everybody goes like crazy. So have one person who's the sergeant at arms and get clear ahead of time. These are the agenda items. I'm the morning meeting person. I'm going to make sure that we're following these. I need to know that all of you guys are going to let me, in this morning meeting, speak up and challenge you, hold you to these kinds of things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's the way that works. The number 2 big thing, got to consult the handy-dandy, very high-tech visual aid. The number 2 challenge is no preparation. What I mean by that is there's no due diligence before the morning meeting. If I'm and your answer for that, of course, is what we talked about a moment ago. If I'm the meeting facilitator or the sergeant at arms of the morning meeting, I'm going to make a request that everybody on the team come to that morning meeting having already done their due diligence. If everybody is dragging into the morning meeting and, we're all, drinking coffee and eating a biscuit or whatever the situation is, and there's been no thought given to what today looks like, the morning meeting is not the time to come in and create that. The morning meeting is the time to have already done your due diligence and come to the table communicating what you need around the horn, where you anticipate the challenges. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute, meeting with you and your schedule and what you're trying to accomplish before the meeting, but you do need to know what's going on today, where are we trying to be, what does my goal look like, where are we actually scheduled to, where are the potential pitfalls. 5 minutes. You can do that before the morning meeting, the day before the morning meeting, whatever. I would also, if I were the person who's the sergeant at arms of the morning meeting, I would make sure that any of the people on my team who need to make requests of things that need to happen every single day before the morning meeting, let's go ahead and get those out right out front, and let me make that part of the agenda item. As an example, if I were the administration frontline leader, if I'm the person at the front desk who's handling the finances, I probably would make a request that every provider on the team, all the assistants and all the hygienists, make sure that every person who's in their schedule for that day, make sure they're all pre-approved so you can bring that information to the morning meeting. That means you're going to have a little preparation, right? Spend an extra 3 seconds and get each one of those people pre-approved with care credit or whatever, so you can communicate that again and share that information while we're all together, because you won't have that opportunity until the end of the day, right? The number 3 biggest challenge that we see is the morning meeting turns into discussion or zero input whatsoever. And what I mean by that is, because in some morning meetings, because there's no focus in the right place and because there's no preparation, people drag into the morning meeting trying to suck on the coffee and wake up, and nobody's really engaged. If that's the case, your meeting is not productive at all. You're not exchanging requests and support while you're all together. Or the opposite is true. People come in, somebody brings up a particular subject matter, and then everybody is giving their 2 cents, and before you know it, we've wasted the entire 15 or 20 minutes on the morning meeting on this one topic, and we've gotten nowhere. So what is the solution? If I'm you guys, I would have a separate person. You already have one person who is the sergeant at arms, let's say, of the morning meeting. I would have a separate person who is, their whole role is to make sure 2 things. 1, there's no discussion. Now, how do you do that? I mean, how do you kill it in the moment? This is a big conversation, right? If I'm going to be the person who is going to oversee the communication in the meeting and make sure that there's no discussion, there's a couple things I really need to do. Number 1, I probably need to define that in the morning meeting, the communication needs to only look like a couple of things, right? It needs to look like, 1, I have a request. A request is something great to bring to the morning meeting, right? Another thing might be, I just need to clear this for everybody. Now be careful with this one. When I say I need to clear this, another way to say that is I need to share something so that everybody knows this information, so we're all on the same page. Now, if you're not careful, everybody is just sharing stuff, and it's just like throwing stuff into the middle of the floor, and then people are reacting. That's not what you're trying to do. Something that you want to share, a great share would be something like, I just need to share that starting today, we're going to implement this new process when it comes to finances. Nothing that you guys need to do about it. I just want you to know, moving forward, this is something that's really cool. We're going to be using Green Sky Financial. Instead of us having to fill out this paperwork on financials, I can literally take my phone, grab the patient's driver's license, and put it on the camera, and boom, it populates the paperwork right there on the screen. How cool is that? Everybody's going, wow, that's pretty cool. Now everybody knows that information. They can talk about how cool it is or whatever, right? That's a great share. A not so great share is something that can explode into a discussion. A not so great share might be, I just need to share that we're having a big problem with the fact that we got cancels and no-shows. And then that's all it said. Well, that obviously is a hotbed topic. And now all of a sudden everybody's giving their 2 cents and, we should do this. And somebody's going, no, we shouldn't really do that because that won't work. Well, maybe we should implement a cancellation policy. No, we tried that in the past. That's not going to work. That's good, whatever. Now you're off and running and you're in discussion mode. A tool you need to have is, well, here's what I would tell you to do. when there's something thrown out there and you're the person who's overseeing the communication, you have to have the ability to say, hang on, can we stop? Okay, this would be my request. Request, that's great to bring to the morning meeting. I would say, you know what, that's a great topic. Who's the person who can be responsible for that? And when could you come up with a plan and bring it to our weekly meeting or our afternoon meeting, right? Now, you write that down. Okay, we can move on. You haven't lost the momentum with the conversation, but you've ended it for the moment, and you've got a plan for it, and you got a plan to come back to it, and you got a time frame of when that's going to happen, who's in charge of it, and how it looks, right? The thing that makes it work in terms of eliminating the discussion is if you are the person who's over that, if you are the keeper of that, and you're going to watch over the communication in the morning meeting, you have got to be strong enough to interject. You have got to have your total focus on the dynamics of what's happening in that morning meeting and keep us on track. Jump in. If you need to get permission ahead of time, hey guys, I'm willing to be the person who oversees this communication stuff. I just need to know that you guys are going to be okay if I stop you. And then you got to follow through with that commitment and stop it. Because nobody enjoys a morning meeting where everybody throws in their 2 cents, time's up, and we go to work. It completely has just diminished the whole purpose of the morning meeting. And now all of a sudden, you're in the throes of a morning meeting that sucks, right? And that's what you do. Mr. Producer agrees with me. And that's what you don't want. You don't want your morning meetings to suck. You want everybody to get value out of them. So there's 3 challenges that we've talked about. 1, the focus is not in the right place. You got to put it on the important stuff. There are some things that you need to communicate with the schedule, but that's not the only thing you need to be doing in your morning meeting. The things we talked about are you need to be looking out ahead, figuring out where the roadblocks are, and communicating that on a regular basis while you're all together, because you're not going to have a chance to be together anymore after this morning meeting until the day is over. You're looking for roadblocks, you're looking for speed bumps, you're looking for log jams, and you're looking to make requests of each other. You're also looking for, in terms of what are the things that I have to do today, where is it I'm trying to go, in addition to what I have going on the schedule. That's an opportunity for me to be making requests like reinstatement calls, those kinds of things. And we talked about requests are a really good thing that you need to bring to the meeting. Throwing a statement out there that's going to blow up into a discussion, not a good thing. Your solution for those is make sure that you have a person who's responsible for the meeting itself and a separate person who's responsible for the communication that happens in that meeting. Second thing we talked about is no preparation. You got to do your due diligence beforehand. And I know what you're thinking, Sean, who's got time to do any due diligence before the morning meeting? I can tell you this, and if you're used to having morning meetings, then you know what I'm saying is true and you'll agree with me on this. 5 minutes spent preparing yourself for what you need to get out of the morning meeting can save you hours throughout the course of a day. And over the course of a month or a year, you're talking tremendous amounts of time, energy, effort that can be saved when you put the due diligence in ahead of the morning meeting. It can be the last thing you do before you leave for the day, for tomorrow's morning meeting, or it could be, if you're a morning person, it could be something that you're doing because you like to get in the office early before the morning meeting. It could be something you're doing right before the morning meeting. And then the biggest thing that we talked about is the old discussion mode. That is a killer. You got to have one person who is assertive. You got to have that person being willing to interject. And if they need to get permission from people around the team, that's great. But that person has got to have their total and sole focus in the morning meeting on the dynamics of what's happening. And they got to be willing to jump in at any moment and kill it. Now, you're not trying to avoid the subject matter, right? You're trying to stop the communication about that subject matter in the moment. Make a request. Who's going to be responsible for coming up with a plan with that? When is that going to happen? We write that down, and now we've got an actual strategy in the works with a time laid out of when we're going to come back to it. Now we're moving forward instead of wasting time in the morning meeting. And that, my friends, is how you have a morning meeting that doesn't suck. More importantly, that's how you have a morning meeting. No matter what your business is, that's how you have a morning meeting that's going to help you have happier clients, better results, making more money, and killing that stress so that you can enjoy the ride. The morning meetings and the preparation beforehand is all the difference in the world. And that's what I want for you, is success in all of those areas. If you like this, please find us at thecrabtreegroup.com. Click on the YouTube button, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that every single thing we do on this channel or any other channel or across all social medias, everything we do comes through YouTube and it'll go right to your inbox. I'm Sean Crabtree. I'll see you next week on Dental Profits.